3 civilian scientists armed with thermal cameras, hyperspectral imaging, and dual-band radar have been documenting something extraordinary off the coast of New York. Objects that vanish from human sight but appear on infrared. Spheres moving against the wind with no sound. Black triangles emerging from clouds that aren't actually clouds. The FBI is investigating their findings, but the government says it's all in their heads. But what if it's not? John and Jerry Tedesco, along with researcher Donna Leonardo, have spent 4 years conducting systematic surveillance of the airspace near JFK International Airport. Working directly with the FBI and publishing peer-reviewed research, they have captured multi-sensor evidence of objects that challenge our current understanding of physics and even aviation. In a recent interview with journalist Ross Coulthart on Reality Check, they revealed 3 radar-confirmed, thermally verified cases that contradict every official explanation about the New Jersey drone flap. As always, I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. You can find the sources in my detailed articles at ufonews.co, along with in the description box below. Hey ufologists, I'm Cristina Gomez, and welcome to this episode of UFO News Updates. Ross sat down with 3 citizen scientists who have been quietly documenting anomalous phenomena off the coast of New York for 4 years. John and Jerry Tedesco, along with researcher Donna Leonardo, operate under the name Nightcrawler. Their equipment is not amateur. They use high-end FLIR thermal cameras, hyperspectral imaging systems, dual-band marine radar, spectrum analyzers, and vortex binoculars with military-grade optical glass. They coordinate with the Federal Aviation Administration and the Coast Guard, and they cross-reference every sighting with ADS-B flight tracker data, satellite tracking, and maritime maps. And they have been observing these objects since 2022, well before the New Jersey drone flap made headlines. Ross asked them the question everyone wants the answer to. Was the New Jersey drone flap real?
We've been seeing these things. We've been observing them for quite a while now. Quite recently, we had recorded some drone activity down at Robert Moses. They look like typical drones. In this particular case, they kind of large, commercial type, almost 6 feet across in diameter. And this is something that we've actually reported and we contacted the FBI about, because this is an area that the drone flight is illegal, simply because it's in the parklands near the municipal airport out here, JFK.
Not only were these objects real, but they were operating illegally in restricted airspace near JFK International Airport. Federal law requires all drones to have transponders and navigation lighting. These objects had neither. And here is the critical detail that contradicts the official narrative.
When they presented, they were roughly about a quarter mile away, and then an altitude of about 700 or 800 feet. The interesting thing is they were over the water. They were off the coast. We had looked to see if there was anybody operating a remote system to operate them. There was nobody on the beach. There was nobody in the parking areas. There was no boats within range that we could see.
At a quarter-mile distance, they should have seen rotor blades if they were conventional quadcopters, but there was no sound at all. So what exactly were people seeing over New Jersey? And why did the government give 2 completely different explanations? On December 12, 2024, White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby held a press briefing about the New Jersey drone sightings. Listen carefully to what he said.
Now, finally, I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings.
So in December of 2024, the Biden administration claimed these were just manned craft. Now listen to what the Trump administration said just weeks later, back in January of 2025.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
When pressed by reporters, John Kirby made several revealing admissions.
Does the U.S. government have any of its own imagery or video of these systems?
I'm not aware that we have U.S. government produced imagery ourselves, but as I said in my opening statement, we have certainly done thorough analysis of the existing imagery.
Like from people's cell phones that we're seeing? Basically, with what you're looking at, how can you credibly tell people that there is no public safety threat, there's no national security threat, that there's no reason to believe that a foreign government is involved?
Because the analysis thus far, in an investigation that is ongoing, has not revealed any national security or malicious intent or criminal activity.
The most sophisticated military and intelligence apparatus in the world claims it has no imagery of objects that thousands of people reported seeing for weeks. They only analyzed cell phone footage from civilians.
I cannot characterize for you definitively what these sightings are. I can just go back to what I said at the opening. We've looked at the imagery. We can't corroborate some of the reported sightings through our own expert analysis using sophisticated detection techniques. There's just no national security threat that we see and no public safety risks.
This is where the Tedesco team's evidence becomes critical. Because unlike the government, they have answers, and they have found this extraordinary. On July 5th, 2025, the team captured something crazy. A luminous sphere was detected 140 yards offshore at Robert Moses State Park, sitting on the surface of the Atlantic Ocean.
This was invisible to the eye, completely invisible. It was only through the hyperspectral cameras.
Wow. Were you getting it on radar?
Nothing on radar. And the object might have been too small for radar anyway.
And it was also close on the ocean surface, so we would get kind of a
we would get a reflection from the
Yeah.
water. It's not something that can't be distinguished between whether or not it's a separate entity from the water, especially that close.
An object invisible to the human eye, but clearly visible on multiple sensor systems. It was self-illuminating, producing no reflected light on the water, and here's where it gets truly strange. When viewed through the thermal camera, the object registered as colder than the surrounding seawater. Now that violates basic thermodynamics. Anything generating energy should be warmer than its environment, not colder. Ross asked the obvious question about how this object was moving.
Do you think this object that you saw on the 5th of July, do you think it was moving intelligently? Was it sort of maneuvering in a way that was clearly under some kind of propulsion?
Yes, it was definitely an intelligent control over it. It was changing direction. Like I said, it was stationary, moved to the east a ways, and then it made a turn towards the shoreline.
The object moved against the wind with no visible propulsion, no sound, and intelligently controlled direction. The team ruled out every conventional explanation, including birds, boat lighting, and atmospheric phenomena. This matches witness reports from the New Jersey flap. Objects emerging from water, objects with no thermal signature, objects moving intelligently. And there is so much more to the story, so don't go anywhere. On August 29th, 2025, the team captured what may be the most significant evidence yet. At 4:14 p.m. Eastern Time, their spectrum analyzer detected an anomalous signal correlating with a radar return. The object was hidden inside what appeared to be a dark thunderstorm cloud. But when they analyzed the cloud using shortwave infrared imaging, they discovered it contained no moisture. Real clouds produce radar returns because of water droplets. This cloud did not. Listen to what Jerry describes seeing emerging from that cloud.
John said there's a black object moving between the cloud, and then it was emerging from the cloud. So he gave me the. I found one of I grabbed my cell phone and videotaped it while John was looking at it, and we switched. And what we saw was something. Originally, it resembled a very black triangular or delta shape to it, or bell shape to it. It had that delta. It had that delta shape or triangular shape.
And was this showing up on radar at this stage? That delta shape?
Yes. We
Wow.
did have a radar target.
We tracked it on radar. And on radar, it appears to separate into two more objects, which is quite interesting.
And here is what is so fascinating. The object remained slightly out of focus when viewed through high-powered binoculars, even though commercial aircraft at higher altitude were perfectly clear. The team observed a shimmer or distortion field around the object, and the moment they activated their radar to scan the cloud, the object began moving. It appeared to detect their surveillance and even react to it. The black triangle was observed approximately 4 miles away from the Brookhaven National Laboratory, home to the second largest nuclear particle accelerator in the United States. During the New Jersey drone flap, numerous sightings occurred near the Picatinny Arsenal, a major military weapon storage facility. These objects appear to be surveying sensitive nuclear and military installations. Donna Leonardo explained that when she first began reporting observations in 2022 and early 2023, she struggled to get officials to take her seriously. But by 2025, everything changed.
Was there an interest? Is this being taken seriously? I mean, I appreciate you can't talk about the work that you've been doing with the FBI, but can you assure us they are taking the work that you're doing seriously?
They're taking it absolutely seriously.
Yeah, there's a genuine interest in this stuff.
And that's now, because back in 2022, early 2023, when we were still involved in phase 1 of the study and seeing some of these types of phenomena, I was researching and calling the Coast Guard, all the various municipal layers, the park government, the police. I was calling Homeland Security, federal as well as state. And what I was getting was, if we were doing something in the area, one, we wouldn't tell you. Other people were saying, well, if we saw that, we would go have our heads examined. And then some people, yeah, exactly. And some people even said, because it was during early 2023, this set of phone calls, some Coast Guard officials said, well, why don't you call Joe Biden? Because he's just been shooting them down, the Chinese balloons.
If the FBI is still actively investigating these objects years later, why are we being told there's nothing to see? I'm Cristina Gomez, and that is it for today. I will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST for another UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell as I do daily UFO news and updates. Fresh UAP stories, government disclosures, and breaking developments land here every single day.